Hello, I'm Laura Mott, and I'd like to talk to you today about donating money. Um, I'm here to talk about St. Therese Catholic Church in Cleveland, Tennessee. They have a pantry, and people can come on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they can ask for food, or you can give money, you can bring food. There are people that prepare packages, and if there's anything that they don't have that they need, they take the money that's specifically donated and they buy whatever they don't have, and they give out about 10 to 25 packages a week. One of the things that I'd like to bring to your attention is that donating money locally is a much better way to donate your money. You have an opportunity to see where that money goes. You don't have to pay all those middle people to get the money to someone. In this case, there's only one, maybe two people that receive money, and they're already there working. So that would be the secretary and some of the people that help out. But for the most part, it's run by volunteers. Ladies in the church started about 2004. They recognized that there were families that needed food locally, and so they started it. And in 2010, they started doing a regular Tuesdays and Thursdays type thing. But the thing that I'd really like to point out is how it really enriches your community. Too often there will be a problem. For example, with the 9/11 situation, there were people all over the country that sent money and donated, and the Red Cross received that money. It was they were first on the scene to provide assistance, and the money that came from all over the United States from the citizens was intended to go directly to the victims, the firefighters, the first responders. People just expected that the Red Cross would see to it that money got there. Well, unfortunately, it became known that the Red Cross actually took over $200 million and set it aside for future possible terrorist attacks. And that's just not that's legally, that's not the right thing to do. You have to do what the donor says. You can't just change your mind about where you want that money to go. And eventually the politicians got that redistributed to where it was intended, because they were actually looking at some lawsuits. And that's just where you don't really have a whole lot of control. I mean, were it not for the fact that was such a huge, unprecedented event in American history, and everybody was under scrutiny, and the need was so great that that money could have been gone, and no one would ever have known that that's what they did with the money. So they're pretty. It's very difficult to read those documents. You can go to consumerreports.org and get some information. You can go to, I believe it's Charity Navigator and CharityWatch.org. Both of those are good places to look for information. But you just need to know that those reports are not always easy to decipher. As opposed to locally, you can go to either St. Therese Catholic Church in Cleveland, Tennessee, or you can go to another church, because very often the churches within a city or an area or a region will help each other out. One church may have food, one church may have clothes, and another one may have gas vouchers. Or you may have another church that doesn't have a whole lot of money, but they have people willing to help out and take individuals to doctor's appointments and stuff. So there's just a better network. You help your own people in your own community. You know what your own needs are. And overall, it will have an impact in a large way, because you're taking care of your own community. And for those people, it builds relationships. They have a place locally. They feel they know the people. They can get to know the people. They're not going to some government agency and sitting in a line all day long, and or sometimes the government agencies, I've taken people there before, and sometimes they're not the most friendly places to go to. It's just the local community church and stuff. You just get better hospitality, really, and sometimes you can get a hot meal. There's just more. There's more there. So I would suggest that if you're going to give money, that you really consider giving it locally first. One of the things that I personally do is I have a portfolio, sort of like you have an investment portfolio, but I have one for giving, because it's so, you only have so much to give. And so what I try to do is, I would like to give a little bit of money to places like the Red Cross, just because I know that the government money doesn't cover all the crises. But I really keep that small in comparison to local, because local just has so much more of an immediate effect. And I just do it. I keep it portioned out. It's easier to make sure it goes to the right place, and it's easier to keep an eye on what's happening, as opposed to it goes off somewhere. Perhaps I pay for perishable items that sit in a port in a ship, off the coast of Africa, that never gets distributed, and that has happened. So there's no way to know. Really, there's no way to check up on stuff like that. I mean, it's just a matter of paperwork, and you don't know if the paperwork you're getting is true or not. You can go into the local church and say, hey, what's going on in here on a Tuesday? When they're handing out food, you can see the lines for yourself, so you know what the need is in your community. So I would suggest that you donate to either St. Therese Catholic Church or another church. It doesn't matter. Call, find out what their program is. They're real good about talking to you about that. Find out what their need is. It may be they don't need money for food. They may be pretty good, at the time being. They may have enough people. They may need gas vouchers. Gas is a big deal. A lot of people can't even get a job because they don't have gas to put in their car. That's a really good thing to donate to. So I hope that people will consider donating locally, as opposed to donating to large corporations. The government has programs for that, and it's just a quicker way to help out your own community. Thank you.